Here is another one of our stair building videos where I am not going to provide you with step-by-step instructions on how to build this stairway. I have books and other videos on that. However, we are going to be taking a tour of the stairway to provide you with a few things you might consider when building this type of a stairway. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. We have treated lumber and pins connecting the treated lumber to the concrete. And I realize some of you are going to use treated lumber for your stringers. And I say go for it if that's what you need to do. And I understand that in some areas treated lumber might work better. Here's a view of the stringers connecting to a beam, and you can toe nail the stringers into the beam with 16D galvanized, some type of a nail that is going to be corrosion resistant. I would like to say corrosion proof, but I have not came across a material like that yet. I know some people say that stainless steel is awesome. However, I have seen stainless steel or something that is sold as stainless steel fall apart and start to corrode. And here you can see where the beams are sitting on top of the wall and butting into the first joist. And even though I would like to build something like this if I could, I'm not going to buy an extra long board to build something like this. And you might need a support post located inside of the wall framing and underneath the beam to transfer the structural load from above down into the wall framing. However, for a stairway, that might not be necessary because we're really not going to have a lot of weight up there. And of course, here's a version of the beam flush with the wall, providing you with another way to build something like this, along with our double stringers and our mitered corners here. And the double stringers will provide you with a little more structural support, and the mitered corners will provide you with another way to finish off this part of the stairway and the beam sitting on top of the post. Next up, let's take another look at the stringers. And even though I didn't provide one in the center, you can always double up that one also. And for those of you who have watched some of my other videos, when it comes to the outside stairs, I'm not a big fan of nailing lumber together, especially under certain weather conditions where moisture can seep in between the stringers. And if that moisture remains there long enough, it can start to rot and deteriorate the lumber. And if that is a concern of yours, then you might consider using a 4x12. And the reason why I am not using a 4x12 up against the wall is because we can actually fasten this stringer to the wall studs to provide us with a nice structural tie. However, this might not be the case in the center of the stairway or at the edge, where we are not going to have additional support like the wall framing. Next up, let's go ahead and add a spacer in between the stringer and the wall framing. And this is going to be a 1x4, and then we are going to build a little guardrail. And the guardrail can finish with stucco or siding. And if you notice, we are going to take a metal post and embed it into a concrete footing. Otherwise, this wall will not be very strong. You might even be able to move it. And we do not want any part of the stairway moving if possible. Now here's the 3/4 inch gap I was telling you about that you might need to install some type of stucco or siding or other finishes. And again, this is just something you can do, not something you have to do. However, the post is something that most people don't do. However, they should do. So another view of the wall and the post. And you can connect it with some bolts. And next up, let's go ahead and take a look at another way to build a guardrail on the outside here. And we're going to use 4x4 posts, 2x4, 2x2s, and we will be bolting the posts to the stair stringers and to the landing beams. Let's go ahead and come around here, and you can see here where we have a post on each side. We have about a 1 inch gap here, and of course just another way that you can build this. Under the handrail, we have a 1x2 that we can use to fasten the balusters to, and at the same time fasten the 1x to the top railing. And I've built a lot of handrails like this. It's actually a common architectural detail, along with the angled balusters connecting to the angled 1x4. Take a look at the bottom here. And you can position this either higher or lower. However, most building codes suggest that you cannot get a 4-inch round ball through any part of the stairway, including the guardrail in between the post and the balusters, and of course this area right here. So you might need to lower this to make it work. Another view there. Let's go ahead and go on to the inside, which basically mirrors the outside. And you can use larger balusters and larger railings, don't forget. We're using 2x4s. You could always use 2x6. And again, this space right here cannot be larger than 4 inches. And if you don't know what your local building codes are, you can always check with your local building department, or even local contractors might be able to provide you with that information. And of course, we have our metal pole. And in this example, I took the pole and I shoved it all the way over to the edge of the post here so that I could nail the bottom angled railing. Otherwise, I would have had a problem there connecting the bottom railing, the bottom board, this one right here, to the bottom of the post. Now, another thing you can do will be to countersink your bolts if you don't want them to be sticking out like we have here. And hopefully you have enjoyed this tour, because we are at the end of the video. And if you have any questions about this particular stairway, feel free to leave them in the comment area. And for those of you who might be interested in how this garage with the loft was built, make sure that you go to our website and then click on the Home Building tab and then the Garage tab, and you should be able to find the project. This, I think, is a 20-foot wide by 24-foot garage, and I think that's where you'll find the projects at.